Newly elected Democrat candidate for mayor of New York, Zohran Mamdani, exemplifies an American college graduate as an anti-Semitic communist. He refuses to disavow globalize the Intifada, which means kill Jews wherever you find them. He says the ultimate goal is to seize the means of production, the foundational strategy of communism. It is noteworthy that Mamdani was elected by middle-class, college-educated young professionals struggling in high-priced New York. Mamdani graduated from Bowdoin College, where he majored in Africana studies, and his father was a professor at Columbia University. The Soviet Union fell, but Marx has triumphed in Western academia. Woke social justice gave the game away clearly by demanding equity. This means absolute equality imposed by authority. This ideology assumes the foundational Marxist class conflict theory at the heart of intersectionalism, where society is divided between evil oppressors and helpless victims. Popular Marxist-Leninist post-colonial theory blames all of the ills of the world on Western imperialism and colonialism. This stunningly ahistorical view of the world is enthusiastically adopted by almost every professor and indoctrinated into students who are trained not to interrogate and test theories and arguments, but to swear loyalty to progressive truths and become activists to advance the interests of the victims, as defined. The U.S. is condemned for having murdered all of its indigenous people and stolen their land. The country formerly known as Canada, now Turtle Island, has officially declared itself genocidal murderers of its indigenous people, who miraculously make up 5% of the population. Academics lead the movement to decolonialize the West and its institutions. Ethnocentric Western science is being replaced, or at least supplemented, by indigenous science. Western civilization has been canceled in our universities. Western college and university graduates are innocent of historical facts about the subjects of their received ideologies. There is a 200-year history of socialist and communist utopianism, from the short-lived group sex communes to Soviet mass murders and gulags, to the slaughter of the killing fields of the Khmer Rouge, to the economy-killing liberation of Cuba. None of this well-known history is taught in Western schools or universities. Students learn from grievance studies that capitalism is evil and oppresses innocent citizens whom it holds captive. None of the evidence of the stunning worldwide improvements in health, wealth, and longevity is ever attributed to its source in capitalism. Our graduates are taught to blame their own countries for vicious misdeeds that are alleged to be the sins of their founding. There is a hysterical insistence on applying cultural standards of the 21st century to the 17th and 18th centuries, and villainize those from earlier times who did not live up to the standards of 21st century moralists. The U.S. is blamed for inventing slavery and for being inhumanly cruel to non-whites. The reality is that slavery was standard practice around the world for most of human history. Capturing slaves among the conquered in warfare was not only standard practice, it was one of the major motivators of engaging in warfare and a valuable reward for the effort. Slaves were a large part of ancient Greek society and a critical part of Roman society. In India, political culture was based on a purity hierarchy, and the large percentage of untouchables at the bottom provided near compensation-free labor. The Islamic Empire conquered half of the world and collected slaves from every population it conquered. Communist China today exercises its imperial control and colonial expansion, notably against the Mongols in Inner Mongolia, the Tibetans in Tibet, and the Turks in Chinese Turkestan. The indigenous populations of these regions have been swamped by the transfer of large Han Chinese populations into their homelands. Russia still has imperial ambitions, expressed recently and today, by its invasion of and war against Ukraine, the independence of which had been guaranteed by Russia in earlier treaties. Just as some native peoples of Africa and North America enslaved their captives, so too did some expand into the territories of others. Likewise, European countries are all the result of population flows, expansions, and settlers. The Celts of Great Britain were invaded and settled by the Germanic Angles and Saxons, the Scandinavian Norsemen, the French Normans, and now by Pakistanis, Middle Easterners, and North Africans. Human life is lived in history, and part of that history is invasions and settlements. It is beyond childish to castigate North Americans for coming from Europe to found new homes, and to delegitimize centuries of extraordinary achievements by demanding decolonization and call for everything to be turned over to the tiny minority of indigenous. Feminists populated their oppressor-victim class conflict with male oppressors and female victims. They banished Western civilization because it was invented by men. Men invented the government, ran the churches, made the scientific discoveries, wrote the books and symphonies, painted the pictures and shaped the sculptures. That's why our higher education graduates know almost nothing about it. Race activists populated their oppressor-victim class conflict with white and Jewish oppressors and black, indigenous, people of color victims. Homosexuals and related sexualities followed the same script, casting heterosexuals as the oppressive class conflict combatants. Education in the West has become a propaganda machine for Marxist social justice, with all of the participants assessed according to their moral virtue in advancing the cause. The Enlightenment University dedicated to the search for truth through evidence and debate is a dead letter in Western countries. We have replaced Western civilization and higher education with Marxist propaganda.